Guys, this is Tyson Johnson hosting you for a semi-annual Hall of Fame Tribe event. This is the fourth one that we've ever done. I would say these are hands down my favorite events that we do. It's to recognize people who have been in the program for 6 months to a year approximately, who have gone through major obstacles, who have persevered and overcome and still are overcoming things. And basically just to get in the minds of these working professional dads and see what's helped them. And it's a chance for them to give back more than anything. Most of these guys are not looking for recognition, but they find it fulfilling to pass along their story. So we're going to go round robin here. Let's maybe just take 30 seconds each. We'll start with Ben and then Bill and then Adam. If Ben, take just a quick second, anything you want to share personally, your age, what you do professionally, family, church, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm actually, I just turned 38 on December 4th, so happy birthday to me. And I am a director of information security at USAA. I've been in that role for a couple years now. I have a wife and 3 kids. I am very involved at church. I am performing the role of what we call bishop right now, and in serving members of the congregation and being kind of a pastor to them. And I love playing ultimate frisbee as exercise, and basketball, and any sports really. That's my preferred method of exercise, is to go out and play a sport. Sometimes you just got to get down and do the actual aerobic cardio and such, but I like to play the sports. So I live down here in Texas, San Antonio, Texas. I've been here for several years, and that's me.
Awesome. Thanks. Bill.
All right. I'm Bill Whitehead. I'm a director of hardware engineering for a small firm, iTech Digital Systems. We build eye tracking hardware and software for the disabled and medical community. I've been doing that for a few years, and I really enjoy that. So I'm very active in my church as well. Right now I'm on what's called Stake High Council, involved with several church units in our area, and working also as a Stake Young Men's president, working with the youth in the area here. So really enjoying that, and I'm glad to be on this journey here.
Bill's younger son has joined us in the tribe in the past too. So
yeah, and I'm 52 years old. My daughter just had our 6th grandchild today, so that was pretty cool. Got to meet him today.
Congrats. Okay, Adam.
Okay, I'm Adam Buck, 49 years old, going to be 50 in April. That was one of the things that sort of prompted me. I'm feeling that middle age coming on, so I started the process of getting things figured out. I'm here in Queen Creek, Arizona. I'm a real estate lawyer and got 3 kids. They're all grown. In fact, my first grandchild was born during this. So I've been at this about a year. And so during the past year, we had our first grandchild. And let's see, what else? I guess that's about it.
Yeah, it's great. And we've got grandkids as a theme. This is great. All right, how about let's do Matt and then Derek and then Todd.
So you can see me a little bit here. I'm on the road. Matt Brown. I'm 36. I'm a software developer and former engineer, turned software developer. I was a chemical engineer before I saw the light and decided to join the tech industry. And I have a wife and 4 kids. And I am also involved in church activities. I'm in what's called an elders quorum presidency, where I help the men of our congregation in different ways. and I've been very active in the past and really like to hike. And my journey all started on a hike when my dad, who is turning 70, who turned 70 today. I'm actually on my way to, going to be on my way to a birthday party for him right after this. But he turned 70 today, and 3 years ago, he beat me up a mountain. And that was a big wake-up call for me. So that's why I joined the tribe. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Thanks, Matt. Derek.
My name is Derek Williams, live in Centerville, Utah, just north of Salt Lake. I work in Salt Lake as an attorney, defending doctors in hospital and medical malpractice cases. And I also do a little bit of adoption law on the side. I have 2 kids that are adopted by my wife and I, a 19-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. And so I got sort of help other families that are building through adoption like I did, and it's a little bit of a side practice while the med mal defense practice pays the bills, so to speak. Been in the program about 6 months. I don't know, somewhere in 6 months, I guess, or 7 months now. It goes fast, doesn't it? And really grateful to be part of it. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Todd.
Hi, I'm Todd Plum. I'm 59 years old. Be 60 in 3 months. And I can see that looming ahead of me. And I'm a anesthesiologist at St. George Regional Hospital in St. George, Utah. I'm also active in my church. I teach Sunday school to the youth. And I have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. And I started the program because I was unsuccessful despite multiple attempts on my own to get a hold of my eating behavior. Pretty good at getting my exercise in, but I was really difficult with my eating behaviors, and the program has really helped me with that. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. That's actually a perfect segue. Let's go back to Ben here. People who are listening, because we have about 1,000 people who go to our home web page a day who are not tribe members, and they'll probably relate that, wow, there's guys who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even turning 60, and these working professional men oftentimes, and they have challenges that they're struggling with nutrition and exercise, just like all of us face. And I'm curious, Ben, let's start with you. If we can walk down memory road for each of you, what would you say was kind of your struggle as it relates to weight, balancing your health, exercise? Just brief, maybe 30-second to 1 minute answers, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I would say I was completely unaware of what the things were that I was struggling with until we started talking through. All I recognized was I would get halfway through the workday and then just feel so sluggish and so tired, and I just want to take a nap every day. And I never had a lot of drive to do anything, and anytime I got up to do exercise, I'd walk away just totally in pain and just completely out of shape. And so a friend of mine named Lyle Updike had recently gone through this program, and I got to see the change that he went through and how he dropped a lot of weight really fast. And then I guess it seemed fast to me because I saw him like 3 months apart from each other, and like, whoa, look at you, all your weight's gone. But it seemed like it was a program that someone like him that I could relate to really had success with. And so I was thinking about that for a while, thinking, well, I just need to do something, because I started with this other program, and I was like, if I could just get the right exercise routine down, then I can manage this weight. And I was up like 217, something like that, 220 something. And I didn't think I was overweight. I was like, well, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'5". That's a good weight for me. But when it's all fat and not muscle, then it's not such a great weight for me. But going through that, I think then Tyson reached out to me and introduced me to the program. And I'm like, well, I'm feeling like I need to do something. And he did something good with Lyle, so I could probably have some success with this as well. But what I realized right off the bat, eating habits were a big piece for me, where I was a big one to do the midnight snacking and the treats at night. And when I started learning the concept of intermittent fasting, I quickly realized that was the biggest piece for me. Just that alone, without any changes to exercise or any other aspects of my diet, just the intermittent fasting and cutting out that nighttime snacking, I immediately started dropping weight because I was active. I was doing stuff. I was going out and playing sports and eating healthy. My wife was cooking healthy, but I didn't have the focused diet, and I was always this midnight snacking. So that was a big problem for me. That once I started the intermittent fasting, that cleaned a lot of that up, and then I started working through the diet plan of introducing new things. But that was the progression afterwards. But that was the big thing up front for me.
Bill, what were you struggling with prior? You're around your 13-month mark, I believe, with us.
Yeah. It was just like over time, I've always felt that I've been active my whole life, and just, getting a little older and started to get, just a little bit more weight on, is getting frustrated, and you see all those, if you're over 40, you should exercise this way. And I was getting close to 50, so I hit 50 and it's like, you're trying to see what could I do? And I look back now, it's the same type thing as what Ben was saying there, kind of just snacking throughout the day, just trying to eat healthy as well and stuff, lots of vegetables and trying to eat well there, but just too much, and not really balancing that. And I had friends who told me, yeah, diet's 80% of it. It's like, okay, that's great, but I don't know what that means or how to apply that. Then I got in, with the program here and kind of focused that up, and the weight started to come off. So I was really appreciative of that. And I kind of tried some things here and there, and would do like this 90-day to try to get you into shape, and it was okay, but I look back, I wasn't managing the food intake properly and the proper nutrition. So I wasn't like constantly searching, but I was kind of looking for something to change, and it was the right time for me. And I found the program and reached out to Tyson and got started.
That's great. Guys, if I call an audible, Matt, you're waiting, I think, your dad's birthday. If I just rip through a few questions with you right now and then let you go, is everyone okay with that? As a courtesy to Matt? Matt, are you okay with that?
Sure, that works. However way you want to do it, that's fine.
Well, it'll be good because the other guys can hear a few of the other questions, and then you need to be spending time with him. So Matt, I want to ask you, you mentioned, I think your dad beat you at a hike. Was that kind of what prompted you to join? Is that what you were saying, or were there other things that prompted you to start?
What that did is it alerted me to that I was in kind of a downward spiral. What I came to realize was I was afraid to do any rigorous activity because I was afraid I was going to injure myself. I'd had a few bad lower back injuries, hip injuries, and every time I felt like I would try to be active, I would aggravate those, and then I'd go one step forward and two steps back. So I was very just scared to even do anything really active. And so that led to less activity, which led to also more eating. I'm kind of a stress eater. So it led to not consciously, but I was eating more, and then that got me in worse shape, which continued the spiral downward. So I realized that was 2019 when that happened, and I knew I needed to do something, but I had no idea where to turn to and who to believe on what I needed to do. There was so much out there. That there was Atkins, there was paleo, there was keto, there was all these different diets, and then there was also different programs, and I didn't know which of those I wanted to try, and was very scared to do a yo-yo diet kind of a cycle. So I had been kind of waiting to and trying to do things on my own, essentially, until one day on YouTube I saw a YouTube ad for the Fit Tribe, and I remember reaching out, and I do remember one question when I was trying to just get more info about it was it felt like I was being so the commitment pattern was being used on me for for this tribe, and I thought that was very effective because it made me have to take a jump and a leap of faith. It made me have to step out into a little bit less of my comfort zone and commit to something that I wasn't sure about, and made me take a chance on this program. So it was really good for me. I don't know if I would have done it any other way, to be honest. So once that initial commitment is done, I mean, my wife tells me, she said to the other day, one thing you need to know about Matt is when he does something, he kind of goes all out. And so once I made that initial commitment, that commitment was there. I was committed to doing this. So that's kind of how I got here.
Perfect. So Matt, look, we're going to keep you on the hot seat real fast here. So we'll just do a little bit more rapid fire. So looking at your tracker, if you don't mind, I'm going to share your results if you're okay.
Yeah.
And then so I show 8-month mark, you're down approximately 30 pounds initially, about 5 inches off your stomach. And now you've entered phase 2, which is the muscle growth phase of things. Is that more or less correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. I was originally my goal was to hit 10% body fat. I thought that would be really cool. And the tricky thing is about those scales that we use to measure body fat is they're only accurate so much. So it was still telling me I couldn't get past like 11.6% body fat on that scale. I just couldn't get past it. And so I finally went to a local university who has a bod pod and got a measurement on it. And they were like, oh yeah, you're 7%. Wait, what? That must be an accident. That must be a typo or something. Let's redo it. I think they did it a couple more times because I didn't believe them. And so, yeah, that was exciting.
That's fantastic. Congrats. You mentioned prior injuries. Any obstacles? Again, just 30 seconds here, that you ran into over the last 8 months along this path, this journey?
Yeah, I've had a number of injuries as I've been learning to work out, because I've never been one to do weights or that kind of working out. I played soccer in high school, but that was about it. So I did a lot of running and not a lot of weightlifting or anything like that. So I did make some mistakes with form and that kind of thing, and stretched myself went a little too fast, and learned to pace myself there. But the difference was, if I had been doing this on my own before, I would have just given up. I would have said, oh, okay, guess I need to not try that again. But because of the support I had from coaches and the mindset, I just took a step back and said, okay, well, what can I do to work out with the injuries that I still have? I think I really do. You can't. I mean, you can't really compare one scenario to another. But I feel like I recovered faster, even working out as much as I could and doing different exercises that were careful around those touchy areas. And it helped. I would have given up, and I would have been really disheartened if I hadn't had some support like the coaches give. So I was really grateful for that in those times.
So navigating obstacles, staying consistent, that's a great insight. Any other, if you think about like the top thing you've learned being a tribe member, just sort of the Cliff Notes version, and then if any of you guys have a question for Matt, that's fine, or not, and then we'll let you go, Matt.
Okay, yeah, I wrote some notes here, just a second. So the main thing I learned, if I were to say one thing, is how much nutrition matters. And I didn't realize how many carbs I was eating. I didn't realize that my diet was almost exclusively carbs and fats before I started the tribe, and that was even bad for you. I didn't even know that. I didn't even realize that, really. Really understanding what it is to be insulin resistant and to be insulin sensitive, and what it takes to do that was a game changer for me. Now, when I crave those, I mean, I went to a work lunch today with my department. We all went out, and it wasn't the most healthy of restaurants, but they had some salmon tacos, and I had the salmon tacos without the fatty sauces and some vegetables on the side. And I would have never done that. I would have gone for the baby back burritos, which are delicious. But now I understand that deliciousness comes with a price, that comes with a consequence that's attached to it. And because I understand that consequence, the appeal of that food isn't there as much anymore. It's easier for me to say, oh, you know what, I'll choose this other option because I realize what the end result is. So that's one thing. And then as far as the actual program goes and sticking to the program, some things that I've learned is trying to just plan as much as you can on a daily basis. I knew that if I had a few snacks and a few other things, that I needed to get 42.5 grams of protein for each meal. And I knew that if I'm eating chicken, that's 150 grams of chicken, or 5.3 ounces. And now I know that off the top of my head, right? So the more I was able to plan those things out and simplify that ahead of time, made it so much easier when I was faced with a decision and trying to navigate, I don't have exactly what I'd like to have on hand. And it made that a lot easier to be able to plan that out. And then also planning for like camping trips and business trips, just planning that out way ahead of time. I had all of my dinners frozen on camping trips for the whole time, and stuck it in a cooler, and they would thaw by the time I needed it. And everybody else would go into those really fatty camping foods that they would be making, and I'd pull out my little container and eat my food. And so that not putting yourself into a situation where you either eat nothing or you eat something unhealthy, I felt was very important. So I tried to make it so that I never had to have that as my trade-off.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, for the sake of time, we have gone down and recognized and covered Matt, very well articulated. Just so happy for you. You're welcome to stay with us or hop off. but we'll post this recording to the website, and be sure to share your interview with friends and family.
Thanks.
So you bet. Adam, we'll go back to round robin, you guys, to keep everyone engaged here. Adam, why'd you join? What were you going through? Why'd you join the tribe?
Well, I guess I've never really been extremely overweight. I've been fairly active. I've worked out, I play basketball. I try to, watch what I eat. I don't think I generally overate, but I just noticed that I would eat the same, exercise the same. And as I aged, my body changed a lot. And I'm like, wait, I'm doing the exact same thing. What's going on here? And I just realized I think it's an age thing. And if I don't change something, I was looking at my trajectory. I'm like, I can just keep doing what I'm doing. And I think I have an idea of where that's going to go. And I don't like the way that looks. I started getting a little bit of a belly and it's starting to pull on my shirt. And, really, I'm looking like way out of shape, guy. And I'm like, what do I do to reverse this? Is it just inevitable that as you age, your metabolism drops and you're just destined to have a dad bod, And I was like, well, that's one of the things that I think attracted me to the program was it seemed like these are middle-aged guys. I looked around at some other programs and it's like, they're all 25 and, getting jacked on these programs. I'm like, wait a second. I don't think my body composition and my age, that's really what I'm going to do. And so I'm like, okay, well, I want to get around some other middle-aged guys that have kind of cracked the code on how to be middle-aged and in shape. And I think it's a different code than when you're 25. And so for me, that was it. I'm like, there's got to be a code. Somebody's got to have the code here. I don't have it. And I need to figure it out because I don't like the way this is going and the way I'm looking.
Adam, you remind me, I need to find a way to market to guys turning 40, turning 50, or turning 60. If any of you can show me how to do that, I'll send you a free Tribe t-shirt or something, because you're right, it's such a great catalyst for so many people. Thanks for sharing. Derek and then Todd, why'd you join? What was going on?
Well, I could just echo basically what Adam said, really, that his story is a little bit my story. I turned 50 this year. I was not extremely overweight. Felt like I was 25, 30 pounds overweight and didn't like the way I looked necessarily, but I still rode my bike and was active and, that sort of thing. But for a couple of years, I have been looking for some way to understand my 50-year-old metabolism and body. And I talked to doctors and I talked to nutritionists and I talked to physiatrists and lots of different professionals searching this out. And everybody sort of gave me the answers and the advice that I thought belonged to the 25-year-old folks, and the same workout plans and 2,500 calorie diets and things like that. And I just thought that does not feel right for what my body's like at 50. And I kept searching for something that felt right to teach me and educate me about how to manage my body at this age. And then the second sort of big component was a couple of years ago, I lost my dad to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. He passed away 3 years ago, I guess. And at the time we were considering liver transplants, and they were talking about living donors and qualifications for living donors. And and you had to have under a 30 BMI, and I was a 31, and I was really frustrated. My dad ended up passing away before we got down the road of living transplant donors, but I was really frustrated with myself that had that been an option, I was not going to be able to. I wasn't a candidate to help my dad because my BMI was too high, and so those two things combined led me looking for a couple of years of how I could just learn how to live healthier and drop not a ton of weight, but a good chunk that would make me look better and feel better about myself, and mostly understand how to live and eat to maintain a good, healthy body as I go into my next 20, 30, or 50 years, however long I live, right? I mean, it's a story that sounds really similar to a lot of other 50-year-olds. It sounds like, and I'm just part of that group. And I kind of found a program that checked all the boxes of what I was looking for, and it's worked so far.
Thanks for sharing that, Derek. By the way, Ray, hello, welcome. Todd, how about yourself? By the way, Todd actually didn't, just out of kindness, he's here. He wants to, I think, do our annual Hall of Fame, but I maybe I just talked him into getting recognized tonight, but he's still got a lot of stuff he wants to nail. So why'd you join, Todd? Oh, still got you on mute, I think.
I'm still a rookie, compared to these guys who've been in the program for a while. I think I'm at basically, I'll be 6 months in January, I believe. So 5 months now. And it's kind of interesting. Actually, a couple of years ago, I saw Tyson's ad on YouTube, clicked on it, filled out the information, and then thought, why can't I just do this myself? And so closed the program, closed the browser. Saw it again maybe a year after that and thought, I still haven't made any progress. I probably should look into this, and so finally, after this last July, when I saw the ad, I thought, it's not happening for me. I need some help. I've always thought that I just do this on my own, and why can't I just do it on my own? There's a lot of hubris involved there. I thought, why can't I just do it? It's a matter of just personal willpower, but that wasn't the case. So I was really fortunate to click on the program when I did and join. And the reason I joined was because I was going south. I had gained weight more rapidly than I had in years previously, and my weight was ballooning up. And actually, in March of this year, I was 300 pounds. I'm 6 foot tall, 5'11" and a half, 300 pounds. And every day was a struggle just to move. I work long hours to get things done, feeling awful. Things are going bad when you hurt yourself sleeping. I wake up in the morning with some new problem, So I joined the program, and I knew that this was the time where I really had to take things seriously. And I focused on my, the dietary part with intermittent fasting and in changing my food macronutrients and just being very careful with eating. And I was very diligent at the beginning. And in fact, I was so involved that I, exercised too much. I kind of overdid it, over-exercised, started to have many injuries, started to have work-through injuries, tendonitis here and there, lots of different things that happened. But I just kept at it. And eventually I noticed that as my weight began to drop and with the diet improvement, my aches and pains were going away. And I was becoming more mobile. My energy levels throughout the day were becoming, better. I was able to get through my workload, and things were just looking up. So I joined because I couldn't do it on my own this time. I have tried before. I had lost weight successfully, but regained it. And so I joined because, like I say, I needed help, and I'm glad I did. So, yeah.
Awesome. Are you guys, the rest of you, comfortable if I just rapid fire share approximate transformation results that I see from your guys' trackers? Anyone here prefer to remain anonymous on that? All right. And then I think we'll talk about any other obstacles and a key takeaway, and then just any final discussion. So Ben, at month 15, has lost about 35 pounds from what hopefully this is directionally accurate anyway. Hit 11% body fat, if I'm not mistaken, and is sort of in maintenance mode with his super busy church calling on top of full-time career. So thumbs up or down, Ben? Is that about accurate there?
Yeah, that's about right. And that's my high school weight actually that I've gotten back to, and it feels really good.
Congratulations. Bill, I show actually a similar, lost about 33 pounds, 4 inches off the stomach, 13% body fat, and actually below your goal, and more or less maintaining past your 12 month mark. Does that seem about right?
Yeah. Still about there. I'm kind of still going through a shoulder injury, still stuff which will still take a few months. So I was about to go into phase 2, but then I had to put that on hold for now.
Yep. Adam, down 31 pounds, or I should say, from what I show, a 31-pound transformation, meaning 19 pounds of fat, 4.5 inches off the stomach, hit 14% body fat, and now have put on about 12 pounds of muscle at your 13-month mark. So not necessarily the scale weight would lie, but a massive transformation as you're in phase 2. Does that seem about right to you?
Yeah, I started this more for a recomposition, I think we called it. You know, my weight wasn't terrible, but I just didn't have the muscle fat ratio, and I looked bad. I looked out of shape. And so I just wanted to restructure, get more muscle, lose weight, get more definition. And I feel like I've accomplished that. So.
Yep. We don't really plaster photos everywhere. It's most of us are just modest. This isn't the center of our life, but I do enjoy cropping out heads, and I will tell you, Adam's photos are very impressive. It's remarkable how the body can change. Derek, just going off the data I have, about 31 pounds of fat loss around your 5-month mark. Seem about right?
Yeah. I just updated it. I was actually down another pound last week, and I hadn't updated it yet. But it's close enough. So I'm at my probably the lowest I've been in 20 plus years, and Jeffrey thinks I can even go lower, which, you know, I'm down about 6 or 8 pounds below the goal weight that I set for myself at the beginning of the program. And he sort of said, that's not enough. We can do better than that. So let's keep going for a little bit. And I said, okay, you're the boss. And so we're trying to build a little cushion as I transition into phase 2 and start learning how to maintain and work on some muscles strengthening and growth.
Awesome. Todd, I show 37 pounds, again, ridiculous transformation photos, already 7 inches off the stomach. Seem about right to you thus far?
Yeah, from my heaviest weight, I'm down actually 52 pounds, but from starting the program, I believe I'm down 39 pounds, and at least 7 inches off my waist. My body fat percentage, I don't know what it is because my scale is so inaccurate. I'm still pretty heavy. You know, I think 248. But you know, I had my body fat measured, I think 6 or 7 weeks ago. I was 19% then. I think I'm around 16 or 17% body fat at 248 right now. So I've got a ways to go. I haven't reached to the spot where these guys are. So still work in progress.
So from 35 to 59, we got everyone covered here, all professions. Ben, let's go back to you real quick. Think about maybe the top obstacle you've run into. I'd like to hear from each of you guys as you think about, just so that our audience and those who will find inspiration from this realize that like life is happening for each of you and they can relate and know that there's some character building that's been happening in each of our lives to work our way through that. Ben, any key obstacle you'd say that comes to top of mind?
Well, it's definitely not something that just works itself into your life or your time schedule. It's definitely something you must deliberately plan and execute on. Even when I say I'm going to do the exercise in the morning or set a time for it, I can find so many reasons to just be like, oh, well, this ran over, or I need to do this, and this is urgent. And so many ways that you can just let it go, because in the moment you think, it's one exercise. Well, or it's one treat, or it's one thing that it's not a big deal. We'll fix it later. But just the consistency and planning it into your day and making it happen is always a struggle, and that's something that I deal with every day.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, I think one of the obstacles I kind of struggled with was early in the year I had some unexpected health issue, and then while I was kind of waiting to see the doctor on that, my shoulder went out on me and stuff. The shoulder blade is not working right, and so I remember the morning I went to go do some dumbbell bench press, and my right arm and shoulder wasn't working right, and I remember just saying, well, I can't lift weights, so I went for a walk, and it was afterwards stuff. I think Tyson or Jeffrey had said, hey, that's a good sign that you pivoted and stuff. That was a nice insight to see, because that was probably about my 9-month mark in the program, and I'd been doing well and stuff, was still trying to reach my goal, but I think just having life happen at times and stuff. I didn't plan for the shoulder injury. I'm still going to PT on that, so I'm about 5 months into this recovery, and I still probably have another at least 3 months to get through it, I think. But I'm improving, and I think just the mindset that comes with the program, that I'm, and kind of as Ben was saying, you just kind of plan it out, you do it, and even when it's cold or you don't want to, it's like, this is who I want to be, and this is who I want to be long term. So I think that's kind of what's helped me at times as I've struggled not to want to do it, or struggled through challenges and other injuries.
Adam, Derek, then Todd. Key obstacle you feel you've had to work through?
Well, I would agree with Bill on the injury. I had a shoulder injury, same thing. You start doing the same exercises, and you just feel something's not right. And it's really frustrating to try to have to, because it doesn't heal overnight, it took weeks. And so it's like, well, what do you do during that time? So I would agree with that. The other thing I would throw in there is illness. I had some kind of crazy head cold for like an entire month, and I was just trying to stay on top of my work and sleep. And, the only thing, it's like there were times when eating actually just helped me feel better physically. And so trying to stay on some restricted, food plan was really hard, hard to exercise, so for me, it starts to get easy when you're feeling great and life is good. And then when life isn't good, that's really where, the challenge comes in, and you've got to pivot. And sometimes there's a huge setback, and then you have to start over and not get discouraged.
Very good.
One of my biggest challenges was about 6 weeks in, 8 weeks 7 weeks in, I sort of plateaued a little bit, and I went for about 3 weeks straight without even losing a pound. I literally, it was so weird. Jeffrey couldn't figure out either, but I weighed the exact same weight to the pound every Sunday when I weighed in for 3 consecutive weeks. Like literally did not gain or lose a pound at all. And I started, the second time it happened, I thought, well, that's a fluke. Third time I was starting to get frustrated. Man, I'm like, what's going on? The scale you guys sent me is jacked up or something. And I got frustrated, and I had to work through that and had to stick with the program and not give up. And then the 4th week it started dropping again, had a good 4 pound drop. And I hadn't changed anything during those 3 weeks. I had worked exactly the way I was supposed to. I was doing everything right. And there's just no explanation for a sort of a small plateau like that. But it happened to me, and it was more of a psychological test for me than anything, that I just had to fight through and keep working it and not give up, because it could have been easy to just say, this is dumb, I'm out. But I didn't. And then the weight picked back up again, and Jeffrey gave me some tweak things to try. And, the benefit of having a one-on-one coach kicked in, and we got past it and went on to continue dropping for the 6 weeks after that. So.
Todd.
Yeah, my biggest obstacles have been, number one is getting enough sleep. For me, what ends up happening is I have periodic shift work, overnight shift work, which and being on call messes up my sleep pattern, and it's irregular, and it's kind of makes it so that I have a period of time where my cortisol levels are up. I get off without recovery, and in those periods, I find myself to be very vulnerable to my old habits of binge eating. And so what ends up happening in those circumstances is, if I work a long shift or been up all night or something, I feel ravenous, and I fall back into my old behavior. So my biggest obstacles have been having to do with sleep, falling back into old thinking behaviors. And the biggest benefit of the program for me has actually been the change it has made in my thinking patterns. So I used to feel like that exercise or the program of improving my diet was a restriction, some sort of laborious difficulty. And now I am beginning to change my thinking that this is an opportunity. And I'm really grateful for the fact that it's improving my life and my outlook, instead of this idea that I'm always restricting myself. I still have those old ingrained thinking patterns, and I find myself easily falling back into those, where I feel like, I want to eat that. I want to come home and eat. I want to go back into the refrigerator. And so my biggest obstacles have been this pattern of eating behavior that I developed, this maladaptive pattern of overeating and binge eating at night. And overcoming that obstacle has been my biggest problem. I think I am overcoming it. My food choices are better. I still have episodes where I have broken down, but I still, they're becoming less frequent, and the foods I choose are better. So, and I'm working on improving my life so my sleep is improved. So that's been my biggest obstacle. There've been many, but that's the biggest one.
Love it. So with the last 8 minutes we have left, let's keep this rapid fire, and then if Ray, if you have any questions or not, that's fine too. But we've heard just some fantastic insights, like avoiding all or nothing thinking, like Bill talks about. When you're injured, how do you still score points, so to speak? Or Derek talking about working through plateaus and just the reality of that. Or Todd, thinking patterns being so much a part of this. It's not nutrition or exercise strategy, it's thinking pattern. So Ben, let's start with you. Like, best Cliff Notes 30-second insight. If you are now giving back and you're 15 months in the program, what do you feel would make the biggest difference for someone to make this transformation themselves?
I think the biggest thing for me is just to enjoy the science of it all. The thing that drives me the most is just knowing why and how our bodies work and how they process things and why they do the things they do. once I started figuring that out, I was like, oh, so there's the math. I do this, this, and this, and this is what's going to happen from it. And then you get to play with it, and your body's a little different. There's variables in there that you can't account for always, but just understanding why things happen and how it works was the biggest thing for me. And when you talk about, I'm going to dedicate this time to this thing on this day, you say, why? What's it really going to do? Well, if you know how it works, then the why is not a question. It's just whether you're going to do it or not. And that was so empowering for me, because no one ever tells you why or how it works. They always just say, no, just follow this pattern for 60 days and you'll be ripped. And it's like, well, that's great, but why? Like, what did you just do to my body? Why is it ripped now? It doesn't make sense to me. But Tyson, what the thing that you keep pushing is, here are some little tidbits. This is why it's happening. This is what insulin resistance is. This is what carbs, how they get processed in the body. There's complex versus simple, and there's just all these different aspects of nutrition and diet and exercise. Hit cardio. Why does that work? Why is that a thing? And to just talk through the science of it all and just enjoy that process and then put it in practice and see the results for yourself. That was the biggest, most inspiring thing for me. And it keeps me going today, because I'm like, if I want to go on another run and drive down my body fat percentage, I know how to do it, and I know why that happens and why it works. And that's been the biggest thing for me.
Thank you. Bill.
Yeah, I think that knowing the why is good too. I really like the mindset of this. My wife and I were watching a program, and they had a personal trainer. It's a home renovation thing, but the trainer had a quote, says, "If you train the mind, the body will follow." And I thought about that, and the mind training that we get here with the tribe and stuff has been really good. I really like the group support as well and stuff. It's good to see real life, not some 20, 25-year-old who's totally ripped telling me what to do. I've got other guys my age or younger or older, but in the same situation with career and work and kids and succeeding. And I think that's been one of the best things, is to see the real life application that this is sustainable. I'm kind of plateaued just due to the injury, but I'm trying to pivot past that and continue on. But it's not a change in my lifestyle. That was one of the things I think that the tribe has brought to me, is this is very sustainable, and that one-on-one coaching was fantastic. And then I've got my wife from day one was very supportive and on board, and we actually go work out in the morning, and so that's a time for me and her to connect as well through the exercise. And so this program's helped me to connect with my spouse better, and I really appreciate that. That helps me to get up in the morning, especially when I don't want to.
So Adam.
What key to success, or what was the question?
Yeah. So maybe the best, if you were giving back to someone who wants to take back control of their health, get fit, have this bless their life, just a most impactful word of wisdom you'd give them.
I think, be committed to tracking. That's something that I didn't do. And it's surprising when you actually track things, what you learn. And I remember the beginning being so frustrated with tracking my food. And it seems so cumbersome, and it seems so time consuming, and I hated it. But you push through it, and if you just don't give up, it becomes more natural and easy. But tracking is so critical. But having said that, the one thing I did, I think, learn is don't be a slave to the scale and the numbers that show up, and don't identify your success or failure depending on what that scale tells you when you step on it. you know, at some point I just decided I want to be an athlete. You know, I want to identify as an athlete. And so I just do the things that an athlete does. And then whatever the scale says, you know, it's going to be, I don't know what my ideal weight is. I don't know what my ideal body fat is. I don't know. And so there were times where I get really frustrated and kind of discouraged if I put in all this work and then I saw no change or a pound up, you know, 1 pound, or it might even be like a 0.5. And it's like slightly higher. And I'm just frustrated, like, wow, that was just a waste. And you just can't identify success with that number. You know, track the other things, but let that number be whatever, you know, that number is going to be.
That's great. Derek.
My tidbit, my best advice would be to work the whole program. There are a lot of different components to this program that make it work, and choosing to, you know, don't leave one thing out. I don't like logging in my spreadsheet every week, logging my weight and putting notes in there that my coach has to look at. Do it. And, you know, check in with the coach, log the meals, the monotonous food logging every day, intermittent fasting. Well, I'll just leave that part out and I'll do the rest of the program. Dropping any portion of the program is just not going to work very well. And so my best advice for anyone just starting or just hearing this is, there's a reason there's 8 components to this program or whatever there are, that because we need all of them, and it's all of them together that are going to make this successful for you. So work the entire program and don't drop off any parts that you don't like or you don't fit. Now, maybe when you've been in doing this as long as Tyson, he gets to drop off certain things that his body doesn't need anymore, or you rework the program, or your body adjusts or whatever. But I'm certainly not there, and I'm going to keep logging my spreadsheet, even though my one-on-one coaching might be done and Jeffrey's not looking at my spreadsheet every single week. I'm doing it for me now, and I'm doing it to track it myself and to journal and log what this last week looked like and what was hard. And so I'm still going to do it, even though that phase might be over with. But because I just think all 7 or all 8 components of the program are necessary.
Thank you. Todd. I think we still got you on mute again here.
I like what Derek said about, you know, using all the program, you know, very wise. I think for me, if I were to give advice, the most important things in my mind would be to be intentional about your plan for the following day. So what I do is I plan what I'm going to do, not only my meals, I plan my meals the day before. I think about it beforehand, what I'm going to do. I plan my exercise program the day before. And then not only those things, but I plan what I'm going to do when I get in my vulnerable situations, how I'm going to, you know, react to those vulnerable situations where I'm tempted to fall back into my old eating habits and behaviors. So what's going to happen when I get off at 7 o'clock and I'm hungry, and even though I brought my food, what am I going to do? So if I think about that intentionally beforehand with my plan, I'm much more successful. And I plan my food, plan my workouts. I'm much more successful on those days. The other thing is consistency. I believe that if, you know, you have to continue to do it on a daily basis. Some days you'll need to rest a little bit. It may take a little bit, work out a little bit less. You might have to do a reset day with your eating, but you just got to keep going. You can't fall off the wagon for more than 2 days. You've got to keep going and consistent in order to build the habits that are necessary to change your thinking and your belief about yourself. You have to be consistent. And that's what's great about the program, is it keeps the consistency because of this accountability factor that's kind of ingrained with the program. So that's what I do, consistent and intentional. I think those are the 2 things that are most helpful, and the accountability.
Excellent. Guys, that puts another Hall of Fame episode in the books. Just so appreciative for each of you and this choice that you've made.